Hansel and Gretel. Part 2. After the children returned home, it wasn't long before famine struck again, spreading throughout the land. One night, as Hansel and Gretel lay in bed, they overheard their mother speaking to their father.
"We've eaten through all our reserves. There's only half a loaf of bread left. And once that's gone, we'll starve. We have to get rid of the children. This time, we'll take them deeper into the forest so they can't find their way back. There's no other solution."
The father, tormented by this plan, thought to himself, "It would be better to share our last piece of bread together than to abandon my children again," he objected.
"I won't agree to this. What we did last time was wrong, and doing it again would be even worse."
"Don't argue with me. If you can't do it, I'll take care of it myself. You went along with it last time, and you'll do the same this time."
Hansel and Gretel, lying silently in their bed, weren't asleep. They heard every word of their parents' conversation. Hansel turned to comfort Gretel.
"Hansel, what will we do this time? They'll leave us so far away that we'll never find our way back."
"Don't cry, Gretel. Just go to sleep. God will protect us."
Once their parents were asleep, Hansel tried to sneak outside to collect pebbles like before, but the door had been locked. Disappointed, he returned to bed. At dawn, their mother woke them up.
"Get up quickly. Don't dawdle this time."
She gave each of them a piece of bread smaller than before.
"Take this. If you eat it all now, you'll have nothing later."
On the way into the forest, Hansel reached into his pocket, breaking the bread into crumbs, and occasionally stopped to drop them onto the ground.
Hansel, why do you keep stopping and looking back?
"I'm looking at Maida sitting on the roof, saying goodbye to me."
"Fool. That's not your dove. It's just the sunlight reflecting off the chimney."
Hansel remained silent, continuing to scatter breadcrumbs along the path. This time, the mother led the children deep into the forest, far beyond where they had ever been before. After lighting a fire, she told them,
"Stay here. If you're tired, take a nap. Your father and I have to go deeper into the forest to chop wood. We'll come back for you later."
At noon, Gretel shared her bread with Hansel, as he had already crumbled his to mark the path. After eating, they fell asleep.
"Ingo, what will we do now?"
"Don't worry, Gretel. When the moon rises, we'll follow the breadcrumbs I scattered and find our way home."
When the moon rose, the children set out, but they couldn't find any breadcrumbs. The forest birds had eaten every last crumb.
"We'll find our way home no matter what."
But they wandered all night and all the next day without finding the way out. Starving, they managed to find a few wild berries to eat. Exhausted, they lay under a large tree and fell asleep. 3 days had passed since they left home. The children continued walking but only became more lost in the dense forest. Without help, they were doomed to starve. At midday, they spotted a beautiful white bird perched on a branch, singing sweetly.
"Hansel, look at that bird."
The bird's song captivated them, and when it finished, it spread its wings and flew ahead of them. The children followed it until they arrived at a small cottage. The bird flew up and perched on the roof. As they approached, they were astonished to see the house was made of bread. The roof was covered with cakes, and the windows were crafted from clear sugar.
"Now you can finally eat our fill. I'll take a piece of the roof, and you can eat some of the window. It looks sweet."
Hansel broke off a piece of the roof and tasted it. Gretel picked at the sugar window and began nibbling. Suddenly, a gentle voice came from inside the house. "Ah,
Nibble, nibble, little mouse. Who's that nibbling at my house?
It's only the wind, the heavenly wind.
Unfazed, the children continued eating. Hansel broke off another large piece of the roof, while Gretel pried out a round pane of sugar to munch on. At that moment, the door creaked open, and an old woman leaning on a cane stepped out. Hansel and Gretel froze in fear, dropping the pieces they were holding.
Oh, my dear children, who brought you here? Come inside and stay with me. You have nothing to fear.
The old woman took them by the hand and led them inside. The house was filled with delicious food: milk, pancakes, apples, and nuts. She laid out 2 little beds with white sheets for them, and Hansel and Gretel climbed in, feeling as though they were in heaven. But the old woman was only pretending to be kind. In reality, she was a wicked witch who lured children to her house to cook and eat them.